This is Shraddha and it is assignment number 9 related to classes. As per the given assignment, we needed to define a parent class called as vehicle. It has attributes make, model, year, weight, needs maintenance and trip since maintenance. The default values of needs maintenance is set to false and trips is 0. We have also defined the setters and getters for each of the attributes. It is for set make, set model, set year, set weight. Similarly, we have the getters for each of these attributes. We have an additional method called as repair. What it does, it resets the value of attributes trip since maintenance and needs maintenance to their default ones. It is set to 0 and needs maintenance is set to false. Now we have defined a child class called as cars, which is inherited from the vehicle, which is considered as the parent class. So it also accepts these all parameters, and an additional one called as is driving, which is set to false. Now we invoke the parent init function and provide these make, model, year and weight values, and we set the is driving attribute value. There are two functions, one is drive and one is stop. So the drive function sets is driving to true. The stop function main purpose is to set is driving to false. In addition to that, it checks if earlier the is driving was set to true, it increments the trip since maintenance counter by 1, and when this values is more than 100, the needs maintenance is set to true. That means the car needs a maintenance when trip since maintenance value is more than 100. We'll come to this later. We have defined two helper functions related to the cars instance. One is randomly drive car. What it does is, using the random library, it it picks a random values between 1 to 100. We iterate over that value and we drive the car and then stop the car based on the given number of times. We have defined a function called as print car specs, which takes the car instance. We print the make, model, year and the other attributes. So we are creating three instances, car 1, car 2 and 3 with some random values, and then we are invoking randomly drive car 1, car 2 and car 3, and finally print the car specs. We have also defined another class called as plane. It is also inherited from vehicle. So in addition to the attributes that the vehicle parent class have, it has an additional one called as is flying, which default value is set to false. It has two methods, flying and landing. The flying function sets is flying to true and returns true if it doesn't require maintenance currently, and if the plane requires maintenance, then it returns false. Similarly, it has a method called as landing. So if the plane is currently flying, we increment the trips by 1. Then if it exceeds 100, then we set needs maintenance to true, and finally we set is flying to false. As we define randomly in drive car, we have defined randomly fly plane, which takes plane and the number of times. This you can say these parameters we are using so that we can make one plane which fly more than 100 number of times. So we set a fly times counter, and if it is this fly time is none, then it will create a or take a random values from 1 to 100, else it will pick the value provided in this parameter. So exactly similar, we iterate over that. We call the function flying plane dot is flying. We collect the value of it in the variable called as is flying, and if the plane is flying, then we set plane dot landing, we call plane.landing method, else this might return false in case the plane needs a maintenance. In that case, we are printing that the plane, the model number can't fly until it's repaired, and then we print that we are repairing this model by invoking the parent method called as repair. So here we are making use of the term color library to print these sentences in red and blue color respectively. Similar to print car specs, we have defined print plane specs. We are creating two instances of plane object, plane 1 and plane 2. We are randomly flying plane 1, and plane 2 we are providing the flight times at 102, which means that for plane 2 it will show that it requires maintenance because the trips will exceed 100, as we have means given as 102. Needs maintenance will be true, and whenever we call flying it will return false. And finally we are printing the specs of plane 1 and plane 2. Let's head to the terminal. So we'll go to homework 9. Here we have main.py. We'll run python main.py. So here you'll see it's printing plane 12 AC sudden can't fly until it's repaired, repairing this. So if we go here for plane 2 whose model is 12 AC sudden, we are setting the fly times at 102, which means that needs maintenance will set to true. So we are getting this message that it can't fly until it's repaired, and then we are repairing it. Below are just the print values of each car. Car 1, car 2 can say trip since maintenance. This is because of the counter, the randomly drive car, car 2, car 3, and last two are the plane values. So that's it for this assignment. Thank you all.